Pump it up, pump it up. Trae. Come on, come on. With Trae. Pump it up, pump it up. It's the day with Trae. This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. I'm your host for The Date with Trae. I'm Trae Holiday. I'm so glad that y'all are joining us on this terrific Tuesday today. I'm so excited because my girl TDUB is in the building. We're going to be talking about the Resold 206 and unfortunately a break-in that just recently happened. I'm glad that she's here so we can get into it. And later on in the show, we got Reagan Jackson joining us, an amazing author. We'll be talking about her journey as an author and her book that she just released. So I'm looking forward to having this amazing discussion with two beautiful brown chocolate queens in the building today. Of course, y'all know it is the top of the show, so it's a great time to tag and share the stream. That's right, participate with us, y'all. Go ahead and share the stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. And if you can't watch our TV show, we still have you covered because you can listen to us, all right? You can do that. Go ahead and listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. Well, before I get into it with my guest today, I had the honor and the pleasure, y'all, of having an amazing sit-down discussion with Raul Nefer Amen the First, and we are going to be airing that this Thursday, y'all, at 8 p.m. I just want to give you a little snippet of some of the greatness he was talking about. Check it out.
You see, that will save us and elevate us. It requires for us to see the God in each one of us. I've written about over 50 books in the past 50 years.
Wow.
You see that? On different topics. You see that? Every single function, biological, mental, psychological, spiritual, physical, chemical, everything is on a clock. And that clock is part of what maintains order.
Ooh, I'm telling you, I was so excited. He doesn't have a lot of interviews out there, y'all. A lot of work on YouTube if you look him up, but not a lot of these kind of in-depth opportunities to interview him. So I'm so honored. So make sure you tune in this Thursday, 8 p.m. You'll get the full Day with Trae and evening special with Raul Nefer Amen the First. Well, as I said, my girl T-Dub is in the building, and we got to get into these details. What's up, T-Dub?
What's going on, Trae? It's good to see you, sis. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you up in here. I mean, some of our early viewers may remember our Feel Good Friday.
Yes.
Every Friday.
Oh my gosh.
But, I'm so glad that you're here because we want to talk about this. I mean, I'm glad you're here to really give us some details.
Yeah.
Resold 206 was broken into, and
yeah.
The community is they're just outraged.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more, T-Dub.
Definitely. Well, I first want to start by saying thank you to you, Trae, and Converge Media for being a part of the Resold journey. Like, I remember when I came here that June of 2022 or 2021 to launch, the Resold, the idea, and then you guys were there the first day we had our soft open, September 30th. And so it's always been important to me that Converge was a part of this journey. So I want to start by just saying thank you for being there. Thank you for being a part of everything that Resold has had going on.
Absolutely. It's an honor. I just got to say it's an honor and a pleasure because you light up when you're talking about this work, and it's clear through your detail of customization and cleaning, y'all. I'm telling you, I got me some shoes back and they were right. So this is also something that's really a part of you. So I'm so glad that we get to be a part of it as well.
Thank you. But yeah, we 5 months in, we had to deal with the one thing that no business owner, no brick and mortar business owner really wants to deal with. And we had a break-in at our store March 7th. 2 men entered an adjacent retail spot and were able to, enter my store through whatever means. I'm assuming that the situation with the hole in the wall was the thing, but I mean, I'm getting so much information and we're trying to investigate on our own to kind of figure out what the situation was, but it's been a lot. We had 26 pair that were taken from our store. 26 pairs of sneakers that belonged to customers. You know, we offer the service of cleaning, restoring, and customizing footwear. So everything that we have in the store belongs to someone else, you know, so it's not my stuff, you know, it was other people's things that were taken. And so, you know, there's that personal sort of responsibility and accountability that I'm dealing with on a personal level. But yeah, it's been a nightmare. It's been literally the worst thing that I could ever imagine happening this soon in the game. I'll never forget the day, you know, I got to the store as I always do, 11 a.m. and the contractor who's next door like stopped me as I'm entering the space, and he's like, I got to tell you, I'm so sorry, we had a break-in and I think they got in your store. And I opened the door and I look and I didn't see anything immediately, and then I turned and saw, you know, behind the register, and so many things have been taken, my cash register had been taken, and I just dropped and I just lost it. It was literally the hardest thing that I've ever had to deal with. And it really does, it feels like a death. It feels like something that, you know, it was very precious, you know, taken from you in a way. And like, people are offering their condolence, and, you know, my family is showing up and people are calling me like, what's going on? And I'm just screaming, I'm just crying, you know? And so yeah, March 7th was pretty much the worst day of my life, you know? And talking to the police, they're, you know, doing what they do, and, you know, talking with the property managers and owners about, you know, what next steps are. And it was just like, just this whirlwind of emotion and confusion. And, you know, you want to try to keep a clear mind about what's happening. Okay, like, I need to focus on what the situation was. How do I go about mitigating this? I have to talk to my customers. I have to tell them this happened. So many people, I'm just like completely and utterly distraught. So it's been quite a whirlwind of, you know, dealing with this and going from spending so many years, you know, building this idea and getting the opportunity to even entertain the idea of going brick and mortar, because this has always been something I've done, you know, since I was a kid, in my room or in a closet that converted into a studio, or in a studio that I was able to build in my home. But it was never something that, you know, I could really offer in this way. And I was so excited, you know, to have the space to really show people what the possibility of this industry is, sneaker care as an industry, the possibility of what it is, because we're all familiar with, you know, the possibility of consuming shoes. Like, we're all buying sneakers, everybody, it doesn't matter where you're from, what you do, everybody's rocking J's and doing all the things, right? And it's a way that we all kind of come together. So I'm like, you know, trying to help people understand and educate people on the importance of what care means when it comes to this thing. And it's like, to have something like this happen, it's like, it's been really hard.
Well, I just want to say, you know, one thing, and this may be, you know, one of those things, but it's like, yo, you had customers.
Yeah.
And you had 26 pairs of sneakers for them to even steal.
Right.
Which is also kind of a huge, because really people know your name. They know the branding that you have in terms of your eye of care, level of detail, you know, you doing this work already for so many years. So the fact that you have folks like myself who will continue to bring you shoes, right? Like, yes, this loss is one thing, and how you mitigate it in the future is huge. Because I didn't know they came through a different storefront, right? Because I'm like, the front gate is pretty secure. I don't know how they did, you know, because you were already putting things in place. We know that there is, unfortunately, some level of our society that instead of trying to figure out how they get up off their feet or whatever, this is, you know, crime is up.
It's up.
And it really is. And, you know, breaking and entering is a huge business in and of itself.
In and of itself.
Do it. And so I love that you put out a call to action. Tell us more about this, because you said, we're not just going to wait for the police to do something.
Not at all.
We're going to do something ourselves.
Absolutely. And that was step one. Like, I took my 48 hours to grieve and cry and do what I needed to do. My first step after the situation was to call all of my customers. So my mom was there with me the next day. I'm at the shop the next day, and I'm calling everybody. I'm letting them know the situation. I'm apologizing and being like, we're going to figure out a reimbursement plan. And most people, and I want to tell a story at some point, but most people, you know, there's an initial shock of like, oh, my things are gone. But then immediately after that, it's like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. You know, this is your business, this is your livelihood, and I'm so sorry. So I really got to give a shout out to the resale customers. They are the best people. I am so thankful for y'all. I'm grateful for y'all and your grace and your ability to allow a shoe to just be a shoe. right? And understand the impact of what took place personally and also on a wider scale in that moment. So I'm super grateful for that. But that was step one. Step two was to let the community know, because I know every step of the way with the resale, the community's been behind me, you know, from here to individuals, other organizations, anybody that I've worked with, anybody who knows what I do on the art scene, anybody who just appreciates me as a person has been down for the resale 206. So I was like, okay, I know I don't have to do this alone, right? And so I immediately called out to my people, and I'm like, look, this thing happened. We are going to figure it out, even if we have to do our own investigation, which has definitely been the case, you know, but we're going to do a thing. And I think it's important to take that stand, because another thing that I learned through this experience is that almost every business within the vicinity of me has had the same experience. Everybody. And that's where you talk about the breaking and entering thing. It's become par for the course. If we've become numb to it, whether you're a resident or a retail owner, everybody is having to deal with this, having packages taken off of your porch, having people lurking around your house trying to figure out ways to get in. Like, it's happening on a daily and constant basis. And if we allow that energy to persist, it will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What we have to do as individuals, as business owners, as community members, as family, as friends, as neighbors, is look out for each other. Mm-hmm. We have to connect. A lot of people have town halls and have meetings and have all these things about what the community needs to do and who needs to act and who needs to say something and who needs to do something when. It's up to us. We can't put that onus or that responsibility on another entity, because it's your community. Yeah. If you live here, if you own here, if you rent here, take ownership. Take responsibility for yourself. And it's hard. We all know how hard it is, because we see things every day. But it's like, we can't live like that. I promise you, this will be the first and last time this happens to my store. Yeah. Because I am not going to stand for it. Yeah. Well, and my people ain't gonna stand for it.
See, this is the part right here where, you know, an experience triggers something else,
yeah.
right? Because of course there's already precautions you had put in place, right? But clearly there's somehow, some way they found a way in. So now it's like, oh, thought you had me, right? And so I feel that fire from you, TDUB. I feel that energy, and I'm with you 100%. Mm-hmm. I love what you talked about with your customers, because this is, you are born and bred
yes.
of the CD,
right.
Of the Seattle,
yeah.
zhuzh, what makes us unique and what makes us dope.
Right.
And so many people know you in that regard. So the idea that, we get to wrap you in our love mm-hmm. is so important to me, because mm-hmm. that's also a way that we look out for one another.
Exactly.
So I love that you're putting the call to action out there for all of us,
right.
to be on alert and to be able to, hey, if you see something, you definitely need to be saying something.
Exactly.
And I also just want to point out, this is why we always talk about how we can do for self, mm-hmm. because we understand the limitations in some of our institutions that
right.
don't allow for a lot of these cases to close.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was just listening to someone, and they're talking about how cases stay open, because
yeah.
it's hard to actually close cases and find who's doing these things. Mm-hmm. So you put a call out to those who are also resellers.
Exactly.
And you let them know, hey, look, if
yeah.
you see these shoes, what's up? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty clear sort of pipeline of what would happen with the merchandise, with the product after it's taken from a store. Chances are the person who does it is going to try to sell it or get it off in some way, shape, or form. So I'm like, okay, sneaker community, this is our stuff. Like, we are all connected. We were just at SneakerCon a week and a half ago. Everybody was in there doing their thing, so we're all connected, right? This kind of situation happens, let's keep that same energy, right? So I put the call together, I itemized and categorized every shoe that was taken, because we do that in the store anyway. People bring in shoes, just fun fact, people bring in shoes, I document and categorize every shoe with the customer so I know what's in my shop. So we inventory, that's just standard, right? So I have all the images, I put them out, I tag all my resellers that I know. I'm like, look, if you guys see any of this stuff anywhere near your store, chances are it was taken from me. It was taken from my customers. So if we are the community that we say we are, let's look out for each other. If you see it, hit me up. you know? And so that blast is out there now, and we're continuing the internal investigation of who did what and how it happened, because there's a lot of really sort of mixy, you know, kind of smoke and mirror kind of stuff going on with what we've learned of the situation. But yeah, we're not going to give up. We're not going to let up. This is not going to happen again, and we're going to make sure of that.
Well, you know, I got to give you a chance to make sure folks know how to still support,
Yeah.
how to still be bringing their shoes,
Definitely.
how to keep the RESO 206 thriving in our community. Look right there, let them know.
Yes, sir. TDUB here, RESO 206, Seattle's first dry cleaner for sneakers. We are down, but we are not out. We are still bringing quality sneaker care services to the Central District. We're not going anywhere. We are at our shop Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can reach us at Instagram at the RESO 206 or our website, thereso206.com. We are also currently running a Give Butter campaign to help us recover from this incident. You can reach that at givebutter.com/thereso206.
Oh, thank you so much, T-Dub.
Thank you.
I'm with you, sis.
Appreciate you
All the way.
always.
All the way.
Definitely.
Y'all, oh my goodness, this is what I'm talking about. We have a platform where we get to dive deep into stories like this that often would get maybe 2-3 minutes max. So I'm so grateful to T-Dub for being here. Of course, up next, y'all, we got Reagan Jackson in the building. We're going to be talking all about her journey as an author and her book that has just been released. Y'all, she's going to tell us why we need to purchase it. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
You see, that will save us and elevate us. It requires for us to see the God in each one of us.
Wow.
You see that spread all over the world.
That's
And that's why when you check my library, you find I've written books in all different cultures. I've written about over 50 books in the past 50 years.
Wow.
You see that? On different topics. You see that? Okay, health and nutrition, on homeopathy, Qigong, traditional Chinese medicine. And it's not that you're so creative, it's that there's a need. You see that? There's a need for really getting it right. Every single function, biological, mental, psychological, spiritual, physical, chemical, everything is on a clock. And that clock is part of what maintains order in the universe.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Really excited to have Reagan Jackson joining me right now. What's up, Reagan?
Hey, what's up, Trae?
And how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. This is, it's always exciting when we have a journey to talk about here. And it sounds like this is your first book. So I want to get into what got you to say, it's time for me to get this story down in book format for others to read.
Actually, this is book number 7.
Wow.
But this is my first book with a traditional publisher. So that it feels like a first book. I feel like somebody had just said a thing about, oh, you can only be a debut author once. And I'm like, nope, it's happening again.
Wow, 7 books. So the others were what? How did you publish those?
Yeah, so I self-published 3 collections of poetry and then 2 children's books.
Wow.
And then the other book was kind of the preliminary, the first draft of this book. And it came out during the pandemic, and we just did not have the momentum to really put it out there. So when Marcus approached me about the opportunity to kind of do a second edition, to really zhuzh it all up, to add all the stuff that wasn't in the first one, I thought, yeah, I want a second chance.
Well, there's something really special about putting your works down in a format that others get to read and consume, especially something like poetry, which is different than this book here.
Oh,
right?
totally different.
But there's something really special that comes from the inside. Tell us about some of those beginnings for you where you said, I'm a writer. I want to be able to, share my insight in this way.
I was 8 And we were reading like the Dick and Jane books at school, and I guess our whole class was just super bored. And so our teacher, who's a really good teacher, took those books and threw them away and came in with a bunch of notebooks and said, all right, you didn't like those books, then we're gonna write books. And so I came home apparently from school and was like, Mommy, I'm gonna be a writer. Like, that's my jam. And I just kind of never lost that. So, fast forward a million years, I came out here to Seattle in '97 to go to the University of Washington for creative writing. And I was always that kid who had a notebook in my purse. I still do. Always have a pen. I graduated with a pen behind my ear. My mom tried so hard to like take it out for the photos, but I was like, I need a pen. So yeah, all of that to say, I never really thought I would end up doing journalism. That was kind of an unexpected part of my journey. Definitely yes to poetry, yes to fiction, yes to all those other things. But when I thought about journalism, I thought, it's kind of boring. It's kind of dry. I don't like the way that journalists cover the stories in my community. It doesn't resonate for me. And if that's what journalism is, like, I don't see myself in it.
Yeah. And that's really what this book is about. So then you have kind of something that you did before, self-published, and now you have this version here that is all of the things you wanted to put in the first one, but it really describes this journey of you going into journalism. What are some of those high points you want readers to walk away with after they read your book?
Yeah, so I think of this book as kind of a time capsule. So it's part memoir, but it's also mostly like articles and essays. We talk about community. I talk about gentrification, what it's been like to live in Rainier Beach and see my neighbors getting pushed out. I talk about having the opportunity to be a correspondent and go to Honduras and cover news there and what that felt like to actually like bring an international perspective to my community. I talk about so many different things.
Wow.
And I keep saying we because like I feel like throughout the whole process of this book, I've been in conversation with community. And I want the book to be read in that way. I want people to read the stories and see themselves in it. And to have that conversation with your neighbor, like make this your book club book. Like that's my hope, right? Is that people come together and really think deeply about this work and about their lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is really an interesting take on doing that, kind of, especially like in book club format. It's still true. The evolution of an unexpected journalist
Yes.
is this title. And you just released it, right?
Tuesday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So it is today.
It's today, and we're having a party. So come through at Elliott Bay Books, 7:00. I'll be in conversation with Tim Lennon and Jen Soriano, kind of modeling the book club format. I'm going to read a little bit, and then we're going to discuss, and then there'll be Q&A, and folks can get their book signed. And
Well, this is exciting, Reagan. I want to talk a little bit about the shift from self-publishing to now working with Hinton Publishing. Tell us a bit about those differences.
I feel like Hinton has been an answered prayer for me, and that as the writer that's always writing, right? I've been writing since I was 8. Like, I know that this is a part of my life journey and a part of my destiny. And the pathway to publication, particularly for Black women, is not always an easy one. There's a lot of different barriers. There's a lot of different no's. And the thing that I miss the most, or the thing that I've really always kind of longed for, has been having a team. So yeah, working with Marcus, Maggie, and Vlad, like it's been really, really wonderful just to have that support, to have people who believe in my work and are like, you've got this, like they really like push me out into the world, but who are also people who will tell me the truth and be like, oh no, we need to edit a little more, or no, you cannot add any more essays. Like the time for that is over, Reagan. Like it's over. Like that's the next book.
Yeah. Help keep you on track.
Yeah, keep you focused.
I love this. Talking to Marcus about Hinton Publishing and why he started it, it's clear that their level of care, which is what I just heard you say a little bit there, their level of care is coming from a different place. And I love that they are right here to really guide writers like yourselves and others to get through that first book project. You know, there's so much that goes into it. So thank you for connecting with them, for partnering with them, so that now we have something that we get to read. And you said, I'm going to give you time because you got details on the actual launch today.
Yes.
So I want to make sure you look right there in that camera.
Okay.
Let folks know how they come and join you later tonight.
Come through Elliott Bay Books on Capitol Hill, 7 p.m. It's going to be so great. I would love to see you all there.
7 p.m. at Elliott Bay Books. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reagan, it's been a pleasure. Y'all, this is exciting because, you know, we always love these inspiring stories. I'm going to wrap all this up right after this short break. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Even if you don't love, can we stay? Maybe we could disappear. Even if you don't love, can we stay here? Maybe we could disappear.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. Miss me, we gon' get tipsy. Don't need a power spot.
Copy my steel. Face the fact that copy my steel.
Africa Town Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africa Town Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africa Town Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. What a terrific Tuesday. First off, huge shout out to TDUB for pouring her love not only into the Resole 206, but into the community, giving us an opportunity to continue to support the Seattle's first dry cleaner for sneakers with the Resole 206. And unfortunately, somebody thought it was okay to be breaking in, coming from a different storefront, but that's all right. Community, we got TDUB's back, right? So make sure y'all tap in to that Give Butter campaign / the Resole 206. You know, let's donate, let's pour our love into the Resole so we can continue to have thriving brick and mortar institutions like it as another layer of inspiration that you can do what you put your mind to and think about your biggest dreams and make them come true, right? Also, a huge shout out to Reagan Jackson for being here, telling us all about her journey as an author, writing, like, this is her 7th book, but this is the first time she really connected with an amazing publisher with Hinton Publishing. Shout out to Marcus Harrison Green and the team over there at Hinton Publishing for giving our amazing authors here an opportunity to showcase their works on a major scale. Make sure you join them tonight, 7 p.m., Elliott Bay Books. Y'all don't want to miss this amazing opportunity to get your book signed and also hear a little bit more about that panel discussion so you can see some of those highlights Reagan is hoping you all take away with you when you read her book. Still True, the unexpected evolution. The evolution of an unexpected journalist. I fixed it. There it is. Well, thanks so much for joining me today on this amazing and terrific Tuesday. Y'all know I'm going to be back tomorrow. And until then, at 11 a.m., y'all, peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.